And I started drinking. I was like, well, this kind of helps numb out the pain, and that worked until it didn't. And I talk about low. I was at the lowest place of my life. I became an alcoholic. I thought, oh my gosh, there's a lot of addiction in my family, but that was not me. That was not the life that I signed up for, but I was ready to give up. I was really, so I know when you're going through those moments, you're thinking, you feel alone. I did not want people to know about my pain or know anything was wrong. And I got to a place of, I think there's a gift in desperation.
Yeah.
I was desperate, and I was willing to do whatever it took to get my life back. And so in 2016, I got sober. I reached out to somebody, and I was like, I knew she was sober. I had so much shame. I was trying to, cover it up, And I would promise myself that I wasn't going to drink, and then the pain would get really bad, and I'd be like, just give me something to just numb this out a little bit. And so, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain, I needed better tools rather than drinking to try to numb out. And so I asked a friend for help, and she said, oh, I'm going to help you. I'm going to take you to a meeting, a 12-step meeting.
Yeah.
A week went by, and I never heard from her, and I thought, oh my gosh, I literally think I'm going to die. I need help now. So I Googled 12-step recovery meetings, and I found a meeting that was when my husband was at work and my daughter was in school. So I was going from sneaking my drinking to now I'm sneaking going to recovery meetings. And I think, so any advice that I would say changed my life is make the decision. First is making that decision. Reach out for help. You don't have to do it alone. And you have to be willing to take, accountability and take action and do whatever it takes to make your life the best that it can be. And I think to myself, I used to go to any lengths to make sure I had that drink. Now I need to go to any lengths to make sure I get to stay sober. You know what I mean? And so I don't take it for granted. But I think, if anything, man, there's so many people that are suffering in silence. And just to know that you don't have to. There's somebody out there that has gone through probably something very similar, if not the same, struggle. And when you know that, I don't think we're meant to do hard things alone.
No. And I love you sharing that, because I had this thought the other day, and it was, of course, during working out, right? Because that's when usually thoughts will come in. I thought, if we obsess over the things that will help break us free as much as we obsessed over them that got us in there. So maybe it's drinking, right? Or maybe it's going out and doing things we shouldn't be doing, whatever it was. And we shift that little bit of obsession, sometimes as a negative, but I think it can be a positive. Like, you start focusing on, how am I going to get these AA meetings? How am I going to recover? How am I going to get out of this hole that's created? And so I'd love for people now, if you were to look back, because I listened to all this, I know some of your story, of course, right? And I look at where you are now, and I love this look back. What would the Amberly now, you look back on that, it's been enough years, almost 8 years since 2016. What would you tell your former self? What were the things you wish you had known? Because now you're on stages and people see you got your mastermind, your book coming out. But that's a lot of years that you had to go through. What are some of those lessons maybe that stood out that helped you get to where you are now?
Well, and that's a thing, it can be kind of, social media can be kind of deceiving. It makes people look like, oh, everything's wonderful.
Happened overnight.
And when I was recovering after my motorcycle accident, I wasn't even on social media. I mean, for 6 years, I was in and out of surgeries and then really struggling with the addiction. And so I want to first say that, I did a lot of healing. I thought I'd done healing, the therapy, reading the books. But man, when I was stuck in that hospital bed and I couldn't run, running was like my therapy. That was my drug of choice. And then I couldn't run anymore. Oh my gosh, I had to sit with those feelings. But we heal what we reveal. And so, I think that for me, I would just if I were to go back, I would just say that I would just tell that inner child, like, you are worthy. You are worthy of being protected. You are worthy of being loved. You're worthy no matter what you look like, flaws and all. Like, because I had to really kind of learn who I was. My whole identity was the fitness girl. I was the fitness girl,
Sure.
and to get into that acceptance that, and get radically honest. And knowing, like I knew, like I remember going to my husband and saying, I think I got a problem. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, I think I got a problem with alcohol. I think I need to go to a meeting. And he said, no. You don't have a problem. No, I was hiding it. I wasn't like,
Right.
I was like bottling the boot in my closet. It wasn't like I had it out on the counter. I was so much shame around it.
Yeah.
And he's like, anybody would be drinking if they were dealing with as much as you were dealing with. But I knew. I knew. And I think we all know. We know that our truth. And I always say the truth will set you free. Now, it will kick your butt a little bit first, but it will set you free.
Won't it? That's such a good one, too, because repeat that about the revealing piece you were saying.
Oh, like what we heal, what we reveal.
What we heal, we reveal. I love that. And as you were sharing that, I'm just thinking, we know before anybody, right? Like even our spouse, like you're having an issue. And so people that are listening, I hope they hear that of like, if you feel that tug and that pull on you, if you're faith-based, that's God pulling on you and the Holy Spirit, I'll be like talking to you going, hey, this isn't in alignment. You got to move. And it may not be that serious where it's alcohol, but it might just be, hey, you're just out of alignment on things that you're doing and how you're living. And to make that decision you talked about. But I love how you said,